All right, we're getting started. Trying to get... First, I share the wrong post into a group and into my main page. And then I gotta start doing my live over on TikTok, and I don't have it connected to my Wi-Fi. So it doesn't work well if I don't have it connected to the Wi-Fi. All right, so let's see here. Let's get you guys the overhead cam. This monstrosity is what we're working on right now. I've got, I don't know how many 3-inch strands of Byzantine here to add to this, and then a whole bunch more strands of the sandworm weave to make into the big rings. Got a long way to go, and this project is just, it is kept getting more complicated as time goes on, so we need to put some work onto it, so hopefully we can near the finish line. Mech, what's going on? How you doing, buddy? One day we will have this complete, and we'll all look back on these trying times and laugh. Like, oh, ha, 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 that took forever. All right, so first things first, I need the right pliers. How's everybody doing tonight? How's your weekend? We just got done the celebration. My kiddo had a birthday, and it kind of took like all week, right? Because we had his birthday party today, but of course he wasn't born today. Today was just when everyone could meet up for the party. Tired, mowed the yard today. How about you? I get to mow the yard tomorrow. It's getting long. We took all the kids to do some child gambling at an arcade so that they could win their prizes. Our neighbor kid did really good on the claw machine. She got 2 prizes. I don't think I've ever won a single thing out of a claw machine, but I watched her score 2 toys successfully. Francis, how you doing? So this is a large sculptural piece, right? I'll give you a quick rundown. This is a chainmail jelly cube, right? The weave used to make it is called Japanese 4-in-1, and that just means that every ring has 4 rings going through it, except for the outside ones. That is what I'm attempting to do here, except as you can see, the large rings are made out of small rings, and then I've added the blackened stainless chains to help hold everything in place. And there is actually 1 ball bearing captured down in here, so we'll be adding, I think, if I did my math right, we'll be adding 32 more ball bearings to it. So should be pretty cool by the time it's done. And then it's going to be suspended with a base and a light underneath. Astrid, how you doing? And then when I have 10 or 15 different other sculptures, I will start courting art galleries and seeing if I can put on some kind of exhibition, and maybe someone will pay me a lot of money for them. You're making dinner. What are you having? Francis, you're doing good. That's good to hear. I can't wait to see it finished either. It's been a lot of work so far, and like I'm not in a hurry to get it done. It's just a lot of the work was BS. I made a mistake. The supplier that I ordered my rings from sent me some questionable quality rings, and I had to fix, or I have to fix all of them. So, like, it's been an arduous process. Enjoyable, but arduous. It's gonna be sick? Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's just a big metal cube, but the way it's made is super cool. And it causes people to go, what in the world is that? Got a lot of comments. People are like, biblically accurate chainmail, which I think is funny. So, hopefully it will pique someone's fancy who has a lot of money to waste on, or to spend, not to waste, on art pieces that they like to display around their home. I think it'll be a really unique piece when it's done. So, you need to make one out of beer can tabs. Drinking beers as I go. The problem with drinking beer and weaving is that the quality of your closures start to suck. Don't get me wrong, I've definitely drank and woven rings at the same time. Dad Wolf Games, how you doing? Was like, you know, you just get sloppy after a little while, so I try not to. Like, if I'm gonna drink, I go and I drink, and I leave this for when I'm sober. You mean the quantity of character increase? Yeah, the quantity of character definitely increases when you're filling up your alcohol system. So, yeah. Kiddo got his birthday presents early. He got a home gym, so we built that, which took like 3 hours. Everybody was wiped after we finished building it. And it was like you think, oh, a home gym. What does a kid need with a home gym? This kid's been working out like all summer, right? And it was a cheap, pretty decent quality home gym. So I was impressed. It was, I think it was like $350. And he's an only child, so we spoil him. But putting that together took a day. His initial birthday celebration, like cupcake and dinner and whatnot, that was a day. And then today we had the party. We took all the kids to Action Territory, where they got mini golf, go-karts, a bunch of arcade games and whatnot. Have I thought about stopping by Bristol this season? I have not. He did get a new controller. He got a glow-in-the-dark handheld Breath of the Wild themed Switch controller. Are we talking about the Switch controllers, or are we talking about the Oculus controllers? So I got those fixed. But no, I probably will not be by Bristol. I don't have the time or the funds to go this year. So I wanted to go and buy a spear for the to hang my tapestry off of. And Jeff at Rogue Mail mentioned today that he'd love to meet you if you wanted to go. He's probably met me. Like, I know Charity. I've met her several times. Think you can give me some tickets? Yeah, it's just a matter of getting over there. Parking and whatnot. That's not really a big deal. I'm just, like, I just dropped a bunch of cash on my kid's birthday, and so, I don't know. I will see what I have. Because I've got, like, what's today? I've got 3 weeks until school starts for my kiddo. So, I will take a look at my schedule. If my presence is being requested at the Renaissance Festival, that's pretty cool. But I have a feeling that I know Jeff. I might not. I don't know. Like, I've met several people who work at Rogue Mail. They're all very wonderful people, and they make and sell beautiful stuff. So if you're at the Bristol Renaissance Festival, be sure to stop by the Rogue Mail chainmail booth. You'll know it's them because they have, like, 50 scale mail tails out in front of their shop. Think he's been there for a bit. I may have met him. But a lot of times when I go in there, when I'm able to get to the Renaissance Festival, there's Charity and there's Lee. Is that her kid's name? And then someone working I don't know, and they're usually really busy, so we'll see. Yeah, we had a good chat today. You haven't gotten to meet Charity yet. She's cool. She does awesome stuff. Charity, if you're a horse person, we've had horse people in here before, and equestrian enthusiasts. Many people have asked me about making armor for their horses and whatnot, and I forget the website or Facebook page, but it's Rogue Mail, and then it's like Rogue Mail Equestrian, and Charity is making... And she's like decorating harnesses with chainmail and making armor for horses and whatnot. So she's really cool. I've known her for several years now. And then I forget what his name is. Captain Fuzzybeard on TikTok. I think that's his name. He works at Rogue Mail as well, I believe. But, well, I'm glad you got to go to the Renaissance Festival. Did you have fun? It's like, I don't think I've been since 2019. I was planning on going this summer, but 2 fence posts to replace and $500 in lumber for a garden bed, which, if you followed along and you know anything about the garden bed story, you know that I still have to fill it with dirt. Like right now, all I've done is give my wife a box, right? An empty box. It's not really a garden bed until I put dirt in it, so I don't really get to count it until it's filled with dirt. But I haven't, Captain Fuzzybeard is Jeff? Okay, so he's been in here and hung out. So, I don't know if I've met him in person. Alrighty, okay, well, good lord. Okay, so getting dirt to the back of my house where the garden bed is, I would have to like load it up in my pickup truck, put it in a wheelbarrow, and then wheelbarrow it to the back because the back gate is blocked by a downed tree. But my neighbor, I don't know what I'm doing with my hands here. You got downed tree. This means downed tree. All right, Razmataz, you have a wonderful evening. I'll talk with you later. So the tree has now been moved, and I can take my truck and fill it up with dirt and then drive it to the garden bed and then just shovel the dirt in. So that's nice. So now, before I put on the next large ring, I'm going to put on one Byzantine chain. Right? That goes in between the rings. And it doesn't matter where you put it at first. It's just... This one can be moved right to where it needs to go. So later on, when we're putting the other 3 Byzantine chains on, we'll get them as close as we can to where we need them. But they're probably all going to need adjusting, which has been so much fun. This is not what I want to play. There we go. So, oh wow, that hurt. Felt a sharp twinge in my wrist. So, the other stuff that happened this weekend, we watched Super Mario Brothers, the new cartoon, and then we watched Sonic last night, and the original, or the first Sonic rather. I was going to watch Sonic 2 with my kiddo, but he got invited to go over and hang out with the neighbors who he's been kind of hanging out with all day. But they're having a little bonfire in their backyard and eating s'mores and whatnot. So he and I will watch the second Sonic movie later. So it was a good weekend. I'm glad it's over. Very close to going back to a regular routine with the kiddo going back to school, so hopefully streaming will become more consistent. We've been kind of not slacking, but like I've managed to get a lot of work done this summer regardless, so I'm happy about that. Come on, let go. But when school starts back up and I can like drop my kiddo off, get work done throughout the day, pick him up, homework, dinner, then come down here and stream, I think it'll be, I'm hoping it'll be a little more consistent. I think it was last year before school ended, so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's like I stream to introduce people to chainmail. I want other people to know that, you know, this is an art form that you can pick up. It takes a while before you're doing anything like this. You may never do something like this. There's 1,000 things that every chainmail artist does different, you know? And you can make pretty much anything you want. So I didn't know you could do this when I was 14, when I first got started. And the instant I saw one of my cool uncles doing it, I was like, holy crap, that's what I want to do. And I've been doing it pretty much ever since, right? There's been a lot of times where I wasn't doing it as consistently as I have been the last couple years. Like, I'd say I got started when I was 14, and then I just kind of pittered around. I used bad materials and I didn't know anybody else who made chainmail. So then when I was about 24, I was out in Iraq and I stumbled across the Ring Lord online and the online community surrounding chainmail, and there's a lot more resources online at that point, which was nice. As someone who was raised during a time when internet did not exist, there was very few resources when I first got started. Renee, how you doing? But now there are resources aplenty. Saw your video showing us your big jelly cube, and notice all of them are aluminum. All of like my cube is aluminum, and that is just happenstance, right? The supplier contacted me and wanted me to do some work with them, see what I could do, and see what I thought about them. It's like, 'cause I don't typically work with aluminum anymore. So, okay, any recommendations on like ring size for jelly cubes? I don't know anyone who's making them out of stainless steel. So I wouldn't be able to give you someone to purchase one from. Whoa. Ah. Why are you doing that? But if you're looking for supplies, does not want to cooperate. So, I'm trying to think of the ring size. So, alright, if you're going to make a stainless steel cube, I would recommend using this ring size, which I'm going to have to measure it in order to tell you what it is. Oh, I would go with stainless steel for sure. Like, that's what I'm going to be doing moving forward. I've got this one to finish going over on my bar. This one to make and raffle off, right? And then anything after that is I don't know, is John in here? John, what ring size are these? What's the closest equivalent in stainless steel? John's probably working, but he might be in here. All right, the wire is 1/16 of an inch, or 1.55 millimeters. And it is 11/64 the inner diameter, or 4.27 millimeters. So you'd have to figure out. These are custom rings by my buddy John. You'll have to figure out like what the closest equivalent is that a supplier provides. But I would get that ring size in stainless steel and make my cube with that. I have a stainless steel cube. Hang on. A couple of them actually. So these aren't really the right ring size for a cube, but like by doubling up the edges, it kind of worked out. These are 16 gauge 3/16. Just to give you like an example of the difference. All right, big aluminum cube. 1 pound, 14.4 ounces, right? So almost 2 pounds, and it's enormous. First stainless cube, 8.7 ounces, so a little over half a pound, right? But it's a quarter the size of the aluminum cube, and this is 13 ounces, right? So now you're gonna get, what is the difference between aluminum and steel? Like steel is 1.5 times heavier than aluminum or something like that. Don't quote me on that. I know it's wrong. I just don't remember what it is. But I too enjoy the heft of a chainmail item. So, most of my stuff once I do those 2 aluminum cubes, I have a little bit of aluminum left down here in the basement, and unless I'm doing a static piece like an inlay or something, I don't have any intention of buying more at this time. Though anodized aluminum comes in pretty colors, and you can make pretty things with it, so I don't know. I might end up eating my words. We will see. Nope, I got room. Okay. Thought I made a mistake. I need to put a one of the blackened stainless chains on the ring I'm working on right now, but I have room to add it after I get it all buttoned up and closed and everything. So there are thoughts on materials, right? Like if I make something, as long as it's properly cared for, it should last for forever, right? Like anything can be destroyed with enough effort. And so I shy away from aluminum or anodized aluminum a lot. A lot of people make costume jewelry out of it, and that's fine. They make really cool stuff. And anodized aluminum is pretty tough. You know, it takes a lot to discolor it and mark it up So it's not that it's not durable, but it does fade over time. It does, it can react with your skin and fade right away. So, like my chainmail inlay that I just finished a couple weeks ago, like that's just going to hang on my wall. The rings aren't going to rub against each other, and they're not going to be exposed to much daylight down here in the basement. So as long as nobody goes and just like rips it apart, it should be fine. But for everything else, I like to use stainless steel, as it's stronger, it's more difficult to break, and while I'm limited to one color for the most part, you can still do really awesome stuff with it. So, with the sculptural application that I'm trying to do with chainmail here, they are static pieces, right? So, why shouldn't I use anodized aluminum to make really colorful stuff? It's a question that plagues the mind. I'm killing it with my project. Thanks! It's coming along little by little. Got a long way to go, but like, just getting to this point, it's like, okay, now it's finally all starting to come together, you know? Just gotta drudge through this process for a few more weeks. And it'll be done. It'll be done before we know it. And it'll be a 75-pound cube that I don't have a place for right now, but once I'm done with the cube, then I got to build a base for it, so that's going to be fun. It's an amazing amount of work I've done. Thank you. It's like I've seen other people use small rings to make big rings before, and I don't think anyone's done it on this scale. This is a pretty ridiculous project, and not that it's a bad project or anything. It's just, it's a bit over the top in terms of what someone would normally do. Yeah, 75 pounds. The initial cube that I had planned was going to weigh 30. And then I've added, there's going to be, I think, 32 ball bearings. Right? 32 1-inch stainless ball bearings that'll sit in these pockets here. So that's, I think it's 5 pounds. And then when I decided to expand each side, so it won't be a cube. It'll be a cube without corners. Right? So when I decided to do that, I did the math the other day and came up with 75 pounds for everything. So it's going to be a hefty piece, and it's going to require a hefty base to hold it up. And then where's my drawing? This is my rendition of what it should look like. It's a cube, and then there'll be some bar stock going around it in a square, and then another square that it's all suspended from, and then a base. Right? So cube in the middle, square going around the cube, and then another square that everything's suspended from down into the base. Where do I get the stainless rings? These are all from theringlord.com. So they're a good option for wholesale prices if you're going to order a lot of rings. The issue is that the quality control has been an issue with them for a while because they've been changing hands, and I know that they're trying to improve it, but I was doing good with them, getting a lot of orders that were correct, and then this last order of the 27,000 black and stainless rings were all out of round. And I didn't notice until I had like washed all the rings and cleaned up all the grime off of them. It's going to be so fire. Thanks. Oh, thanks for the lightning bolt. So it's going to be so fire if I can get it done. Okay, so there is a company up in Milwaukee called Milwaukee Blacksmith. They're like 40 minutes away from me. And I know that they would be able to do like exactly what I needed. And just because it's a custom stand, like either I can go and figure out how to make everything myself, or I can go talk with them, or a fabricator, or I don't know what, you know what I mean? Like, I'm probably going to end up having to pay someone to build the stand for it. I do have my neighbor who said he would weld up anything I wanted. Maybe. I'll think about it. I'll think about what I want to do. Because if I have to do it myself, then that means more tools. Right? Which I don't mind buying more tools. I just spent $400. Oh, that was the thing too. Razmataz was asking about going to Bristol. And it's like I'm just strapped for cash right now. Because I had to buy a jackhammer and a Sawzall so that I could remove the fence post. So that was like, you know, $400 between those two things. Bam, how you doing? More tools are always fun. Bam, I am working on a large chainmail sculpture. Oh, excuse me. So for the concept, this is a chainmail jelly cube, right? And the weave used to make it is called Japanese 4-in-1. And it just makes this nice, flexible little metal cube that's fun to fidget with. And it's Japanese 4-in-1, so every ring has 4 other rings going through it. And this is the same thing. All the interior rings have 4 rings going through them, right? Not the outside ones. And then we're gonna make a cube out of it. A cube without corners. And then suspend it up like so. Maybe put a light underneath it. I don't think the light's going to work out just because it's so dense. Light's not going to pass through here, right? So we may scrap the light idea, but that's essentially what I'm doing. See, if I go and talk with Milwaukee Blacksmith, then they can texture the framework for the stand, which would be cool. They have a power hammer. And if I do it, then I'm lighting a fire in my backyard and hoping for the best that I can get some metal up to temperature to make it soft enough for me to put some texture on it. You know what I mean? Wow, sweet. Thank you. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. Alright, now this needs to go... I can only do this once. So once I have this in here, we run out of room to do it any other time. Get that black and stainless chain in there. I started this in May. I worked on it for a little bit, and then all of June was taken up with my Finnegan's Wake inlay. If you go back to my other videos, you can see it. And then I started back up working on this in July. So got a lot done in May. I had stopped working on the inlay because I needed... I ran out of rings. Oh, I need to put a Byzantine chain on this. So I was hoping early weeks of August I would have it done, and it's like mostly done, right? Like I have this tray of rings that all needed to be added to this cube. So like this part is done. But I decided to make the project twice its size, and all of the rings used for these blackened stainless chains are out of round, and I have to correct them one by one. So I'm probably going to be working on this through the end of this month. Cross your fingers, hopefully not too far into September. We'll see. I do have some other projects I want to get started on this year. I finished up my saddlebag projects for my Road King, and it's time to get started on the gas tank bib and the toolkit. I wanted to do that this winter, so we'll see. We'll just see what happens. So I don't plan on going anywhere, and the September 4th is your birthday. It's my brother's birthday too. Right on. It's always funny. I was actually talking to my brother the other day. He's stationed in Japan, right? And so he's several hours ahead of us. So he and I often chit-chat like early in the morning. And he'll be up like having a bunch of drinks. And he'll call me. He'll be a little tipsy, you know, over there in Japan. And it's like 10 o'clock in the morning my time, and I'm waking up. It's funny. But I talked to him the other day too. Alright. Uh-oh, come on, really? What happened to my music? Plays for like an hour and then freezes. I don't want it to pop out. I want... Oh, there's music. Okay, it's still going. What? No. I'm just like clicking on all kinds of... What is this? No? Okay, I got it fixed. Alright, Bam, you have a good evening. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate you. Sorry, I accidentally hit the wrong button in Streamlabs. And, I'll all of a sudden I had a split screen and okay. So one of the fun things about this project, and I've talked about it before, is just getting to a point where you have to weave upside down and backwards in order to get the ring where you want to go. And this is kind of in a tight little section here where I'm gonna have to do that. That wasn't so bad. All right. This is like just wonky, these angles. You're working on Little Man's shirt? Right on. Very cool. I saw someone made their kids the cutest little chainmail shirts. They'd use like enormous rings to make them, but the kids were really little, you know? And there's just kind of like potato sacks over their heads with holes cut for their arms. And they were all make-upped up, all warriored out, you know? For fair. Right on. This armrest is getting in my way. Meanwhile, you're using 18 gauge 3/16. Yeah, I mean, just be thankful he's small right now. So I got a shirt out of 16 gauge 3/16, square wire and round wire, and they were quite intense projects. You're gonna add to it every year? There you go. Just like make a sheet with a hole for the head and then use some lacing up the sides, you know, like in this section, so that every year you can just like pull it apart real quick and then pop it out, lengthen it, and then, you know, sew it back up. That way you're not, you know, I mean, you can do whatever you want, obviously, but it's going to be more of a vest this year. Where do you get your square wire rings? So the square wire rings are, a couple people provide them. One is, what is the website? Well, I'll just tell you, the supplier that I've used has been the Ring Lord for square wire rings. And then I want to say it's Whitney Mail. Whitney, WHITNEY, MAILLE.com. I think that's the website. He sells titanium square wire rings. And they're gorgeous. But the rings that I have that I use to make shirts out of are all from the Ring Lord. You're very welcome, Sinful Claws Creations. If you need more help with chainmail, in the link tree in my bio, the top link is the Mailworks web app, and in there is a list of suppliers, tool recommendations, groups, forums, all kinds of stuff, with more stuff coming soon. As soon as I have the time to sit down and work on my computer and not get a migraine, then I will get that done. And there's a Discord in there if you want to, if you need help. Oh my god, I don't even think I can close this ring. Sweet. That's awesome. Thank you. You're very welcome. You're very welcome. I'm here to spread the good word of the holy armor that is chainmail. Lord, let our closures be accurate, our pliers be swift, and our projects really cool. Amen. But yeah, no, I am 100% like proselytizing about chainmail, right? And that's why I like to do this. And get people involved in a hobby that has given me so much, and a community that has given me so much. This just, you know, it just happened to turn into where I get my dopamine from. So, it's like, if it can help me out with stuff, keep my hands busy, then, you know, perhaps it will help someone too. You do all different crafts? Right on. I typically do chainmail, and then just a skosh of leatherwork. I would like to do more leatherwork, but I'm not very good. Growing up, I didn't put the time into learning to do the leatherwork like I did with chainmail, so I just didn't, I didn't get good, really, at anything else. Chainmail, crochet, nails, lace. Nails like painting your nails? Or what do you mean when you say nails? Oh, come on. Asher does. Okay, you mean fingernails? Okay. Do you touch crochet mostly in the winter? Right on. Yeah, I can't crochet. Here was a common theme on one of my videos going viral was people were like, "Oh, it's knitting for men," and I'm like, "You have no idea. Like this field, this industry is dominated by women. Like I get what you're saying, but it's really not that." Speaking of, I'm no feminist or like, you know, I'm not someone who goes out and marches for women causes, right? But, you know, as with everything, there are legitimate injustices against the sexes for different reasons. And one of them, you know the guy from Turkey that did that, the shot, Everybody else has got all the super, you know, eyeball enhancing material when they're competing in the shooting competition, and he just goes out there and he's got a pair of glasses on, he shoots his shot, and he wins silver. That was a man and woman team that won silver. It wasn't just him. Right? Where was she ever mentioned anywhere? Nowhere. Anyway, that's a bunch. Like, I get that it's cool that he went out and did that and won silver and everything, and that he's got like this kind of background lore now, which is cool. But also, like, there was a whole other individual present on that team. Chainmail such a... Currently making a set of press-ons right now, actually. Right on. I think I know what that means. And chainmail being a woman-dominated field. Yeah, I mean... Uh-oh, I screwed up a ring. Of course I did. Of course I did, when there's no room to maneuver anything. Yeah, okay. Trying to think. So Bernice got the Ring Lord, and then sold it off. Michelle has Hyperlinks. What's her name runs We've Got Mail. Metal Designs is ran by a woman. These are all suppliers, right? Like major chainmail ring manufacturers. All women. I don't know if a woman runs the Ring Lord right now. And then a ton of the chainmail artists, the people like driving new weave development, people driving like quality control. Okay, it's not all women, but there's a lot of them. And you know, people don't realize that. And I've mentioned it before, especially because I like one day this past year, I think I had 3 or 4. It was early on in when like vending markets started earlier this year. I had 3 or 4 of my female vendor friends complain about men coming up to them. Look, a few rings. You don't believe, so what? Mike, what's going on? What don't you believe? I had 3 or 4 female friends who were complaining because men had come up to them and asked them, oh, did your husband make that? And like, they're the only one at the booth, you know? It's just like people don't know anything about chainmail, and I get that. Just know. Just, you're hearing it from a guy who knows. There's a lot of women doing this. And it's okay to be misinformed about something. But now no one listening gets to make that mistake. And you're all better people for it. Come on. Fat Cat Designs. You do chainmail too? Oh, you don't believe a female runs TRL right now? Yeah, I am completely unfamiliar with who runs the Ring Lord right now. Don't know what's going on up there. Fat Cat Designs, what kind of stuff do you make? I've got a pile of chainmail jewelry right here. All fun stuff. So I've got some for sale somewhere. It's like jewelry. I've done a lot of bottle wraps and coffee cup wraps. Those are fun. Jelly cubes. There's a bunch of other fidget toys that you can make. Yeah, you really... Oh, there are chainmail dragons. Those are a crowd pleaser. Lots of fun. Love incorporating pearls. Byzantine rings with a stone in the middle are your fave. It's not. It's run by businessmen. There was a woman running it. Sort of like a bezel setting. Yeah, so, like, I wasn't there when TRL went through the whole thing. Like, I was around, but obviously I don't live in Canada, right? But it was John and Bernice's, and then my understanding was during the divorce, he sold it to Bernice, and then Bernice sold it to someone else, and they sold it to someone else. And I think through changing hands that number of times, a lot of stuff got jacked up. And, you know, that timeline may not be 100% correct, but... You also do dragon cuffs or dragon earrings, right on. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, this puzzle piece of death. How are we getting the puzzle piece of death? There's 70 people in here. So rude. You've had a lot of issues. Yeah, so they changed hands a number of times and their quality control issues spiked. And it's like, it's the best place to get wholesale rings from. Okay? But also, yeah, on TikTok, if once you hit an hour to make sure you're not a bot, they make you slide a puzzle piece over so that you can prove you're not a bot. And you have 5 minutes to hit it. So I've come very close. Like, I'm just sitting here working on stuff, and I look up, and it's like 5 seconds left. And if you don't slide it over, they'll shut off your stream, which I've only had happen once. But yeah, I think, you know, if they address their quality control issues in a year, TRL is going to be a different company. Depending on how much the owners want to make it a viable business. Because, like, if they don't and they're just milking it for money, then, you know, they'll just drive it into the ground. Because they don't understand their customer base. You liked them? They had great color. Variations, but never a standard quality and always out of stock? Yeah. Right, so that's the... Like, there's a reason why we have so many suppliers on the market right now. Because somebody said, hey, there's too many problems with this company. I bet that I would be successful if I started my own company providing these supplies to these people who are upset at this other company, right? And thus, other chainmail suppliers were born. And now we've got 16 different suppliers that I'm aware of, all making different kinds of stuff, and it's a blast. So, also what you're working on is insane, so cool. Thank you. It's a large sculptural piece. Just a big cube that I was dumb enough to think was a good idea to start. And now that I'm halfway done, who do I prefer? So, I have not had the luxury of being able to order from everyone, and so I can't really say, right? These are all Ringlord rings. The half of the order was good. The other half was, like, all the black and stainless for these chains was out of round. And so I've had to adjust every single one of those rings. And there's 27,000 of them in this project, right? So the spring stainless were perfect. There's 20,000 of those in this project. Or no, 16,000, roughly. So, like, hit or miss with the ring lord, right? These are 18 gauge SWG 1/8 rings from chainreaction.ca, and they're perfect. I haven't tried their anodized rings yet. Have I ever gotten anything from Chainmail Joe? No, I have not. I want a kit of his to keep like on the desk so that when people come asking like where to start, it's like start here. But as with everything that costs money, and I just spent like $1,000 on my kid's birthday and bought $400 in power tools. So can't do nothing anytime soon. But I hear great things about Chainmail Joe. I know a lot of people like them as a supplier. I hear great things about We've Got Mail, Metal Designs, Hyperlinks, you know, just a lot of happy customers. So it's just, you know, try a little bit of everyone. You cleaned up the beard recently? It looks like... No, I didn't get a new job. So I had a beard down to, like, my stomach. And I think I cut it off in February. Hang on, I gotta sneeze. Of course it's that... get out of my nose. And... it's like... it was forking really bad. This area of my chin wouldn't grow past like 3/4 of an inch. So I had like this patchy area where it looked bad. And I don't know what happened, right? Can I not grow lengthy beard hair from this part of my chin? You hate the fork? Yeah. I wasn't a fan. I don't know. I got cleaned up and I got a haircut. Like looking all prim and proper, but no, I haven't had a job in quite some time. So don't plan on going back to that, but you know, stranger things have happened. Okay, so where am I on here? You love We've Got Mail. Love Chainmail Joe. Yeah, so Sinful Claws. Over here I'm on TikTok with you. That's where most people are. And everywhere else for TikTok, Facebook, X, YouTube, and Twitch, I'm on my computer. And so I've got 2 comment sections running. And I was going to combine them when I got a URL, a stream key from TikTok. But I hit 10,000 followers and never got a stream key, even though I stream pretty routinely. So I'm just like stuck in limbo until I get one. I've fired off a few emails trying to get a hold of someone to give me that key, but I've heard nothing back. So it makes more sense now. Yeah, I'm not just like talking to myself like a crazy person. All right, mine is almost back to the point where you'll catch it in your armpit when you sleep again. Yeah, that's so much fun. Alright, we're going to add some of these blackened stainless rings. I don't think... I'm just going to add one here. It's going to be a load of fun. How heavy is this? It's probably at 15 pounds right now. Let's see here. I'm going to have to get a bathroom scale just because it's going to weigh a large amount. If I did my math right, it should weigh 75 pounds when it's done. Okay, that's... Yeah, it just says error at this point. So... The last time I weighed it, it was 12 pounds. And I haven't gotten to the point where... What was I saying? It was 12. Last time I weighed it was 12 pounds. Right. And if, like I said, if I did my math right, it'll be 75 pounds when it's all put together. So, the issue with making projects this large is that at some point the weight will cause it to tear itself apart. So I'm hoping that I don't reach that point anytime soon. I think I've got quite a lot of wiggle room right now. Looks great. Exciting to see how it progresses. All right, Fat Cat, have a wonderful evening. Thanks for stopping by. But yeah, I'm going to need a bathroom scale, so, for this. Oh, happy anniversary, Mike. I believe I saw something about that earlier. Oh, come on, don't do that. No, no, no. Crap. It shifted sideways on me. Ah, it was Friday. You sold 10 years. 10 years. Congratulations. 10 years on Friday. Twins turned 6 on 28th and are now 4-foot minions. Yeah. Yep. The ever-present passage of time. The endless passage of time. So my kid's 10 and 5 foot, and his next growth spurt, he's going to be taller than me. Maybe not his next, but he'll be taller than me by the time he's 13. It's like I don't spank my kid, right? And the reason is not because he's a perfect kid, you know, like he's a good kid. but he definitely could have been spanked a time or two. But I don't spank him because I know that he's going to be enormous, and he's going to stand head and shoulders taller than me, and I don't ever want him to go, "Hey, Dad, remember when you spanked me?" and then have him just beat me senseless, you know. That ring got bent out of shape. Turned 45 in the 11th, so made it another level. Right on. I just turned 42 this past month. That ring shot off somewhere. Who knows where it went? I think I'm doing something wrong. This is one of those, like, the angle is all jacked up kind of thing. Oh, that should work. I should be able to weave a ring into here. Come on, you bastard. Okay, this is ring number 4. There we go. I got it. I get so close. Come on. Yay, there we go. Working on it down there in the void is nuts. Oh yeah, like, you mean like where you can't see where you're weaving? Yep. Okay, so that's in. Where are we at here? 950. I apparently missed one over here too. I'd rotate that to the outside just so it was easier to work. I could have, had I not already closed the big ring, right? But there's there's material in the way, so I can't like move it around to where I need it to be. But yes, I should have done that first. But that's what happens when you stream and weave at the same time, is you kind of don't pay attention to what you're doing, and you end up having to go back and fix your mistakes, which is fine. It'll be fine. It's like there's always a plan on how to proceed for everything in this project, right? Problem is, I just forget about the plan a lot and get myself into trouble. It's okay. It'll all work out, and we'll get it together, and it'll be done at some point. There's a pile of opened blackened stainless rings somewhere behind my desk. Alright, had to bring out the pliers with teeth for that one. But we got it in. Hoorah! Okay, so 1, 2, 3, I need to put one over here. Oh, I need to put one in here. So I think I had enough rings to make 40 of these Byzantine chains, and I got like half of them done. And so this layer has 21 rings in it, and each ring has 4 chains of Byzantine. So I need 84 of these little chains here, right? And that's just to hold everything in place. So 84 rings, or 84 chains on one layer, and then I think it's 64 on the other layer, so every other layer is slightly different. You have patience? Yeah. I mean, it definitely turns into a grind at times, but usually it's not too bad. Like my aluminum jelly cube here, okay? There's like, I think it's over 600 rings per side at this point, and it takes like 3 hours to do one side, to do one layer on one side. And yeah, that can get to you. That can get to your head. It's a grind for sure. But, you know, for the most part, when I'm working on something, I don't really think about the time too much. I'm usually sitting here watching a podcast or listening to music and just chilling, so. Do I sell them or make them for fun? So, I sell lots of stuff for fun. This will be for sale at some point. This is a personal project, but I have lots of bracelets currently for sale. And then I take commissions every now and then. So, just depends. Most of my stuff, almost all of it, is sold. Someone will see what I'm doing on here. They'll ask me if I make something, and it's all via online. I don't go and vend anywhere or anything. So most of the stuff that I sell is all of my chainmail themed apparel on my website. Oh, come on. No. we go. Do you make them for fun and then sell them? What makes you want to make these? So I've been doing this for like 28 years, 29 years now. And I had a rubber band ball. The rubber bands are breaking down, and so I was replacing it with this cube, right? So this was just a personal project. A lot of what I'm doing is I'm using up old supplies that I have. I mentioned previously that I hadn't had a chance to order from other manufacturers because the reason for that is I'm trying not to spend money on new material. I need to go through all of the old material that I've had sitting around for years and clean up my basement, right? So that's a lot of it. So a lot of this stuff is born out of I don't know what I was going to do with these rings when I ordered them, but now I have them and I need to do something with them, which is this project originally was a pine cone sculpture that I was going to try and make. And as you can see, that did not work out. But the rings, when I made them, you know, the first like test run ones are, I was looking at them, I was like, you know, those kind of look like they'd be good for a weave called JPL, it's Jen's Pinned Linkage. And then they also kind of look like they'd be good for a cube. I was like, oh, that'd be really cool to make a really big cube out of these. So that's how this got started. After I couldn't do the dragon scale pine cone. You make such beautiful pieces. Takes a lot of patience. Thank you. 28 years. How are you old enough to be doing something for so long? I started when I was 14. I just turned 42 last month. So 28, 29. Serena, this is a chainmail jelly cube, right? Little jiggly thing. The weave used to make it is Japanese 4-in-1, where every ring has 4 rings going through it, except for the rings on the outside. And so this is a sculptural piece that I'm making using the same weave where each ring on the inside has 4 rings going through it. And then I'm adding the blackened stainless rings to stabilize everything. And it's all, the goal is, thank you. The goal is to at some point have 10 or 15 sculptures and then take them to an art gallery and do a exhibit and then hopefully get paid lots of money for my sculptures. This is just my cube sculpture. I have several other that I want to do. So I got a list of all of them, and I think some of them are going to be really cool. Oh, so I'm going to keep making them on and streaming them while I do it. And, you know, in the meantime, I'll sell a piece here and there. But a lot of what I do is proselytize about chainmail and teach people what it is and how to get started. And, you know, if I can connect someone with a hobby that's brought me so much joy and feeling of accomplishment over the years, then, you know, I feel like I've done a good deed. So, you love the bracelet I make? Thank you. TW, how you doing? Alright, for anyone watching, it is past my bedtime. Tomorrow is the work week. And I have a few more things I got to do before I go to bed. If you're interested in learning more about chainmail, in the link tree in my bio is the Mailworks web app. That's the first link. And in there is lists of suppliers, groups and forums, where to find other chainmail artists, tool recommendations, and a whole lot more stuff to help you get started. Right? There's also a link to my website. My website is myusername.com, mailworks.com. And I design and sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories. And because chainmail is timeless. If you want to stay in style, you know, you wear chainmail for sure. 2,000 years, 1,500 years. It's been going strong. We use it to this day. What else? I'm usually here 8:30 to 10 most nights of the week, hanging out, just making stuff. Haven't been as consistent this summer, but school's coming up, and our schedule is going to get a little bit more normalized soon, so hopefully that'll change. Please go follow me on all of my other socials. They're linked everywhere on all my pages. Help me build up all my channels. I do appreciate it. And other than that, I'm going to keep working on this cube, and we're going to keep getting stuff done. All right. You all have a wonderful evening. I will talk to you all later. Everyone, have a good night.